Hello everyone, my name is Alec Howstead, and today I will be teaching you how to add your weekly quizzes and assignments that you have for school onto your phone calendar. Obviously I'm using an iPhone, as you can see in front of me, so if you're using a Samsung or Google, it might be a little bit different for you. I'm not exactly sure how to use those, but the basic principle should be pretty similar, so I'd imagine you can still do it as well. The purpose of this instructional video is to allow you to better visualize when you have assignments and quizzes upcoming, when you have them due, because as we all know, phones are very important to us in everyday life. We use them a lot throughout the day, and so it's nice to just kind of have those notifications pop up on your phone of when you have assignments due, to eliminate the risk of maybe missing one, missing an exam, which would be extremely detrimental to your grades and stuff like that. So yeah, so for what you need for this instructional task is, first of all, obviously a phone, preferably an iPhone, because that is what I will be using. Again, you can try and use others like a Samsung, but I'm not 100% sure how those work, so you will not be provided with the answers for that directly. As well, you need access to your assignments. As you can see here, I tap here, I have access to all my assignments. And again, I'm sure you can see the date, the due time. I understand that that's one way you can see your assignments and plan them out that way, but for me, as an example, I just can't look at this and kind of be visually appealed. Looking at something like this doesn't make me want to get my assignments done, whereas opposed to what our calendar apps will look like at the end of this instructional video, it's a lot easier to digest and manage. So as well, you want a phone charger if your phone is almost dead. That would be an important piece as well. First step in this process is kind of just to open the calendar app and familiarize yourself with it. As you can see, the dates are at the top. You can scroll through them. You might see a few dates that I already have in mind. Just play with a bunch of different tools, stuff like that. Just kind of familiarize yourself with the app so that you can better go through these steps without getting confused at any point. For example, if you were to get into this screen, how would you get out of it, etc. Now that you're familiarized with the app, the first step in this process is going to be to try and add our first event. So we're going to go to this plus sign in the top right corner. We're going to label it practice 1, and then we're going to make the start time to start at the next 5-minute interval that is occurring. So currently it's 7:57. The next 5-minute interval is in 3 minutes at 8 o'clock, and then we're going to add that to our calendar. You'll know that you did this correctly when it shows up like this, and will look something like this. Now that we have that down, we're going to try to add an event with an alert setup. So we're going to go into this first practice alert, and we're going to delete it because we no longer need it. Adding an event is pretty straightforward, so I won't go over it much anymore. But again, we'll hit the plus sign. We'll title this one Practice 2. And then we're going to set the time for 10 minutes after the next 5-minute interval. So the next 5-minute interval is 8 o'clock, so we're going to set this to 8:10. And we're going to go down here to alerts and add 5 minutes before. Now what's going to happen is you're going to wait, and you're going to know you did this correctly by waiting for that 5 minutes before, and you should get a notification on your phone on the home screen that shows that you have the event coming up. So we'll check back in when my alert shows up to show you what it should look like. Okay, so now that it is 8:05, we set a 5-minute alert before our event at 8:10. If we unlock our phone, which I'll unlock it with my Face ID quick, we should see an alert for today at 8:10 in 5 minutes for practice. Now that we know that we can successfully add an event to our calendar with an alert that alerts our phone to the event happening and how far away the event is, we can go on to the next step. And that next step will be to changing the total time of the event. So let's say tomorrow on April 22nd, I have an exam at 8 a.m. Let's say that I know this is a final exam and that the total allotted time is 2 hours. I'm going to change this to 10 a.m. From 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. is 2 hours. We're going to title this practice 3 as well. And then you can also set an alert if you want. I'm not going to because we already covered this. If you're not totally comfortable with setting alerts, please do it for this as well and test it out. Change this time again to the same rule we used for the last, as to being 10 minutes after the next 5-minute interval, and then setting an alert to 5 minutes before that to make sure it still works. So right now for me, that would be setting this to 8:20 and then the alert to 8:15. And then this end time would change to 9:20 or 10:20, my apologies. Now that we do that, we can add our calendar event. I set mine for tomorrow, the 22nd. I go over here, I scroll all the way up to 8 a.m. and it's right there. Now I have a visual representation of where I for sure know that I will be unavailable to friends, family, whatever it may be, because it's right there in my calendar, visually present and available to me. Now that we have setting alerts and time allotments down, we're going to try and add our first real assignment. Now this is where the part where I told you you need something that shows you your assignments readily available. This is where that comes into play. Mine's right here. I'm going to go into here and notice that I have an assignment due tonight at 11:59. We'll use that as our first example. What I'm going to do is go back into my calendar app, and I'm going to add an event for, we'll call it the name of the actual thing. We'll do U9, U9, it was D1, and then we'll add the name of our class. I just use short acronyms for my class, so that works for me. Because it's an assignment and it's due at a specific time, which is 11:59 p.m., so at the end of the day today, I'm just going to click all day and then add it to my calendar. Because I clicked all day, it's going to show up right at the top. I can see that I have that assignment due tonight, and I can quickly get that done when I need to, because it's right there in front of me when I open my calendar up. Now that we've done that, we're going to try adding an actual quiz that we have in our Canvas, Blackboard, whatever it may be, into our calendar. So I have my next quiz on Sunday, due at 10 o'clock. For the purpose of this material, we're going to say that that is a for sure time period that we have to take this quiz from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. So we're going to go to Sunday the 24th, add an event, and we're going to call it Chapter 22 Quiz. I'm going to do that quick, closer to me because it's easier. Chapter 22 Quiz, Psychosocial Aspects of Athletes. That's the acronym I use for that class, so that's what I'm using. Again, come up with whatever acronyms you feel comfortable with. So we said the exam is going to take place from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. And we're going to do 2 alerts this time. So we're going to want to alert ourselves a day before so that we know we for sure will not miss this. And then we're going to set an alert 30 minutes before as well. Chances are, as a student getting used to waking up that early, I'll be up that early regardless. And if not, the day before alert will force me to set an alarm, maybe for 9:45. And then if I forget why I set that alarm, I'll wake up to my notification that I have an exam. It will show in 15 minutes. And we're going to add that to our calendar. We're going to scroll up on the 24th, and then we'll see. Now that we're done with that, we're going to want to wipe all practice events that we added to our calendar, and then we're going to try to re-add the ones that we added as practice, as well as add the rest that are due within a certain time interval we want. I'm going to go with all of my assignments that are due by next Thursday, because that is exactly a week away. So I'm just going to go through my to-do list on my canvas, add all of those, and then I'll show you what it should look like. And yours should look fairly similar. Obviously, it will vary depending on how many quizzes, assignments you have, and whatnot. Now that we have added everything into our calendar for our preferred amount of time, you should end up with something like this. So at the top here on Thursday, you can see, well, as you can see as I'm scrolling, I have nothing, but I have 2 things due up here that are due for today. So I added those to my calendar. They're due at the end of the day, so I just put them all day. I added alerts to them for the day before, so that I knew the day before that I'd have homework that I could either have done the day before or will have to do today, which helps me out personally to manage time a little better. Friday, as we can see, no assignments at the top, but we do see an internship exam that I have to take. That is my only responsibility for tomorrow. Saturday, I'm competing in the Wisconsin Big Idea Tournament, so I also added this. Gives me a visual representation of when I will not be here. I will be gone. It allows me to make sure I don't make plans, because I always check my calendar before making plans, kind of scheduling interviews, all of that. We go to Sunday, usually a busy day for most students. We got 3 assignments at the top, and then we have these 2 quizzes that are due at 10 p.m. So I allotted one from 8 to 9 to make sure if I haven't done it by then, I do it in that time period, the first one, and then the second one I do in between the 9 to 10 period, just to ensure I get them both done by 10 o'clock. I know that they're not a time limit, but they're only 10 question quizzes. So it's just nice to have those there with the hour allotted time period, because it kind of gets my brain believing that those are going to take a little longer than they normally do. Allow yourself more time, and if you get them done before 10, great. We go to Monday, we have an essay due, no other assignments throughout the day. Sorry for the notifications. We go to Tuesday, we have 1 assignment due at noon. Sort of the same principle as the quiz. It's due at noon, not at midnight. So I like to add it into my calendar just to make sure I know, okay, it's got to be done by this time. And then on Tuesdays, I have classes all day, so I set my alarms for these assignments for accounting the day before to ensure that I get them done the day before, because I will have no time the day of. And then we go to Wednesday and Thursday, nothing on my calendar yet on Capstone or on Canvas, so I didn't add anything. But that is basically what your product should look like, what your calendar should look like by the end of it. You should have all the assignments you want to have added on, and then obviously you should continue this until you're comfortable, or not until you're comfortable, but until you're out of school. And then revisit this instructional video whenever you're feeling a little confused about what exactly you should be doing. I just wanted to say thank you guys for listening to this instructional package. It'll help you truly out a lot. It helped me out a lot. It helps me get my assignments done on time. I used to not be the greatest student, and it has helped me change that greatly. Obviously, if you're wondering why I didn't have any tasks on my calendar when I first started the instruction, it was because I deleted them all so I could go through and show you. So if you're worried about that, don't worry about it. I do this, it works. And yeah, thank you for taking the time. I'm glad that you're invested in your education. You want to improve your grades, and I believe this will help. Thank you.